and welcome into another edition of the Pinstriped Prospects podcast, onto episode number 63 of our flagship show here on pinstripeprospects.com, which covers all levels of the New York Yankees farm system. You'll get news, stats, analysis, in-depth interviews, and so much more. None of it possible without our friends, of course, at Velocity Wings. Here with you in New York, I'm Alex Zeller, and maybe you're listening to this podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, or the TuneIn app. But you can also catch video editions of this podcast releasing every Monday by going to our YouTube and Facebook pages as well. However you've chosen to listen or watch us today, thank you so very much for making us a part of your weekly programming. My oh my, has a lot of things changed over the last week, and it circles around trades as we quickly approach the trade deadline. The New York Yankees have been working quite hard trying to solidify winning their division and moving on to even more. A lot of those players earlier this year saying that they'll feel this is a lost season unless this is a World Series ring for them. Their words, not mine. And the Yankees have been hard at work in acquiring some new pitchers, which really affects what's going to go on in the farm system. So let's jump right on in and take a look at who the New York Yankees got to acquire. Division trades can be rare, but they do happen. The New York Yankees were able to acquire Zach Britton from the Baltimore Orioles back this past Tuesday in exchange for 3 pitching prospects in Dylan Tate, Josh Rogers, and Cody Carroll. I'll be getting more into those 3 in a minute, but when you think of the greatest strength on this New York Yankees team this year, I think of the bullpen. Arguably one of the best, if not already the best, in baseball, and the acquisition of closer and left-handed pitcher Zach Britton really solidifies that aspect of this team. Last offseason, Britton had surgery on his Achilles, but has been lights out this year. In 8 outings, the 30-year-old southpaw has not allowed a run. Last he did that was against the Seattle Mariners back on June 27th. The lefty is going to be a strong option for manager Aaron Boone to pair with Aroldis Chapman, but as rentals go, they sure do cost. And New York had to pay 3 pitching prospects for Britton's services. Baltimore gets in return depth in AA and AAA as far as pitching goes. The Orioles have been looking for more pitching help, so the combo of Tate, Rogers, and Carroll might even see some time in the big leagues. Let's first take a look at right-handed pitcher Dylan Tate, who is part of that Zach Britton deal to the Orioles. Tate was a 2015 first-round draft selection by the Texas Rangers before joining the Yankees organization. Tate was assigned this year to the AA Trenton Thunder, where he went 5-2 with a 3.38 ERA in 15 starts this year. Tate was listed as a 6th-ranked prospect on our midseason top 100 list, which you can check out online at pinstripeprospects.com. Tate was selected this year to the Eastern League All-Star game, but was kept out due to a strained quad. Tate was expected to start for the Thunder this past Tuesday when he received the news of the trade. Along with Tate went left-handed pitcher Josh Rogers, who was assigned to the AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders before his trade to Baltimore. Rogers was selected by the New York Yankees in the 11th round of the 2015 draft. Rogers started 19 times this season, going 6-8 with a 3.95 ERA. Rogers was a strikeout machine, though taking care of 83 batters and only walking 29 in 109.1 innings pitched. That number of 83 strikeouts was the second most on the Rail Riders, right behind Chance Adams, who has 87. To round out the deal with the Orioles, right-handed pitcher Cody Carroll was sent in the deal as well. Carroll, a 22nd round draft pick by the Yankees back in 2015, was assigned to the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. He's a late innings reliever. Carroll was ranked at number 21 in our top 100 list. His batting average against this past month, .080. The 25-year-old is 3-0 on the year with a 2.38 ERA, along with 9 saves for the Rail Riders. He even represented Scranton Wilkes-Barre in the AAA All-Star game earlier this month. Carroll, since the trade, has already seen some action in the Orioles' system. Now playing for Baltimore's AAA team, the Norfolk Tides, has already earned himself a win. But the Yankees weren't finished with just the acquisition of Zach Britton. When you think of weaknesses as far as the New York Yankees go, I can't help but think about their starting rotation. So the Yankees made some calls and was able to acquire left-handed pitcher J.A. Happ from the Toronto Blue Jays in order to shore up the latter half of the Yankees starting rotation. This news surrounding Happ was first reported by Jerry Krasnick of ESPN.com. The cost, according to MLB.com's Mark Feinsand, was infielder Brandon Drury and outfielder Billy McKinney. John Morrissey of MLB.com was the first to report that the two sides had an agreement in place surrounding Happ. The Yankees get a 35-year-old starting pitcher that will help solidify the back half of the starting rotation. This year, Happ is 10-6 with a 4.18 ERA, a 3.84 FIP, and a 101 ERA plus in 114 innings for Toronto. In 20 starts, Happ struck out 130 batters with 35 walks. 2 years ago, Happ finished in 6th place in the American League Cy Young Award voting when he went 20-4 with a 3.18 ERA back in 2016. Let's take a look now at the players Toronto received in exchange for Happ. And one of those names will be someone you should recognize from podcasts and even farm reports past. Infielder Brandon Drury was acquired by the Yankees during spring training in a 3-team trade from the Arizona Diamondbacks, which sent Tyler Widener to Arizona and Nick Solak to the Tampa Bay Rays. This season, Drury suffered from horrible migraines, and their symptoms were extremely severe. One of those symptoms include blurred vision, which landed Drury on the disabled list in the beginning of the season. With the emergence of Miguel Andujar as a starting third baseman for New York, Drury struggled to remain on the big league team, getting optioned to AAA. In 55 games this season with the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, Drury hit .294 with 5 home runs, 13 doubles, and 30 RBIs. He'll no doubt get a shot in Toronto. Paired with Drury went outfielder Billy McKinney. McKinney came in at number 20 on the Pinstripe Prospects midseason top 100 prospects list, available of course on pinstripeprospects.com. He was a first-round draft pick selection by the Oakland Athletics back in 2013. In 54 games with the Rail Riders, McKinney has hit .230 with 13 home runs, 8 doubles, 5 triples, and 32 RBIs. Now, some of these trade decisions made by the New York Yankees recently have to do with the upcoming Rule 5 draft. The next couple trades have to do with just that. As initially reported by Jack Curry of the Yes Network, the Yankees traded left-handed pitcher Kale Frare to the Chicago White Sox in exchange for $1.5 million in international signing bonus money. Frare was drafted by the Yankees in the 11th round back in 2012 and really broke out this year in his assignment to the AA Trenton Thunder. This year, Frare has a 0.62 ERA in 43.2 innings of work out of the bullpen. He struck out 57 batters and walked 15 before being promoted to the AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. Prior to his trade to the White Sox, Frare only played 1 game for the Rail Riders, allowing 1 run on 2 hits while striking out 1 batter. Frare was not likely to be added to the Yankees' 40-man roster this winter with other relievers in the system ahead of him. In addition, the New York Yankees acquired right-handed first baseman Luke Voit and international signing bonus pool money from the St. Louis Cardinals in exchange for left-handed pitcher Chasen Treven and right-handed pitcher Giovanni Gallegos. Voit was selected by the Cardinals in the 22nd round of the 2013 draft. He's appeared in 70 major league games in his career, including 8 this season. In 2018, Voit has been hitting .240 with 5 home runs and 21 RBIs. The Yankees are taking a flyer on Voit, and it will remain to be seen how he develops in New York's system. But at the very least, the Yankees acquire more international bonus pool money while also clearing room on the 40-man list for the acquisition of J.A. Happ that the Yankees got from the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's switch gears now and take a look at Domingo Acevedo, who last week found himself called up to the big leagues. But back on Saturday in the 5th inning against the Portland Sea Dogs, Acevedo left the game with an apparent injury, as reported by our own Robert Pimsner. Sources tell Pinstripe Prospects that Acevedo was evaluated and it was determined that he pulled a bicep muscle. This type of injury typically takes between 3 and 6 weeks to heal. Depending on the severity of Acevedo's strained bicep, the recovery could take months, effectively ending his season. The 24-year-old from Villa Los Almacigos in the Dominican Republic made 11 appearances so far this season, including 8 starts. Overall, Acevedo is 2-3 with a 2.97 ERA with 46 strikeouts in 57 2/3 innings. Acevedo stands at an imposing 6 feet 7 inches and throws a fastball in the mid to high 90s, a changeup in the high 80s, and an 85 to 88 mile per hour slider. There's been some confusion out there around Acevedo involving how hard he can really throw. While it is true that he, a couple of years ago, did light up a radar gun at 103 miles per hour, suffered from severe command issues as a result. Acevedo is working to develop more speed as he works his way back to the big leagues. This year, he had a brief one-day call-up before being optioned back to Double-A. The move was done as insurance in the event that New York Yankees starter Sonny Gray faltered. He didn't. Acevedo, on the 40-man roster, was expected to pitch in Trenton that day normally and could have been an innings eater for the Yankees if it was necessary. Acevedo caught up with reporters, including our own Matt Kardos and Austin Petolillo, who covered the Trenton Thunder beat for us. Among other things, Acevedo spoke about his big league experience and how he strives to get back there. Matt, Austin, take it away.
Do you feel like a major leaguer?
Yes. I feel this team. I feel the roster, the 25 roster. So, and I'm back here. So, keeping working hard. So, I'm prepared for everything. Command my pitching, my delivery working, and be ready for the next opportunity.
How much does something like that kind of give you, I don't know if hope is the word, or like, hey, I've been up there now, so now, I know I'm on the radar, and I know I can be called back up at any time. Does it give you confidence that you can get back up there?
I don't control that. I know that's not my job, So I can control keeping working and stay healthy and continuous whatever I need for working and be ready for the next time. So I'm back to here because I'm excited, because I know the team is his thing for me, and I don't know. So I continue work for. Doesn't matter for reliever, the starter. I'll be ready for everything.
Were you surprised that they called you?
Yes. I'm gonna stay in my room at the hotel and watching Netflix. And the manager he's go to my room. He's talking by my door, and I say, "Who's talking my door right now?" That's 11. And I look at the manager and say, "Oh shit, I don't know why the manager's here. I don't.
What'd you do wrong?
Nothing." And I said, "What is it, J. Bell? He need to talk to me." And then I see the Nori and say, "Oh, maybe it's not good." And the manager said, "What did Rijo or the translator?" So Rijo is staying in the bathroom, and Rijo is thinking, "Oh, maybe he sent me down right now." And the manager said, JBL, he said, no, it's a phone translator for Domingo. And he's talk, and I understand what he say. And I say, really? He said, JBL, yes. He said, And I'm going to say, oh my God, so I feel my blood, everything's hot, everything's put energies in my body. I breathe more harder, and it's a big hug for my pitching coach and J. Bell, and I say I need to call my mom for the opportunity.
The first thing you did was call your mother?
Yeah, that's the first time, I think, because my mother's my hero. Mother's mother, father, friend, everything she's for me.
Kind of take us through the day. What was it like, just being in, a major league ballpark, being a part of a major league team?
Because I'm the coach of the clubhouse, and that's, oh my gosh, that's the day. I know the word, I think, and the club is let me know everything. The manager office here, cafeteria here, everything is here, and I say I need to go to the field, and I go to the field, I take the grass because I say, okay, it's not ring, it's real, and they look at you and say, I don't know what I say, but I feel I'm excited.
Did you take a picture?
No.
You didn't take a selfie?
Don't take a picture because don't have time. I go to the field. I drive from the stadium, and I'll be here, so I don't have too many time each for go practice and back to inside. ready for the game, so don't have time for taking pictures. But I think let's start.
Were you hoping to get in the game?
Yeah.
Were you ready if they told you to come in?
Yeah, I'm be ready, and I say, God, help me, and let's do it.
When you put on that uniform for the first time, did you kind of get swept up in emotion, just knowing so many great players?
I say, I go to the bathroom and look at me, the thing, and I say, that's me, that's my dream. And I say, thanks God for the opportunity. And I said, let's go, I'm ready. I'm a little excited, my hair is a little more harder. This is amazing.
After putting that uniform on, though, does it make you that much more hungry to get back there to do it again?
Huh?
After putting that uniform on and going up to the big leagues, does it make you that much more hungry to want to go back to do it again?
Yes. That's more hungry, glad. And now I want to more, and I have more hungry, so I want to continue the work more harder and more concentrating in my job and everything. And I want to most 100% ready for back to the big league.
Did you talk to any of the big league guys up there? Just any advice, or did they give you any tips, any of the major league pitchers or anything?
I feel comfortable because, I'm a stay for this guy and the spin training, and I know a lot of guys. So, for example, Judge, Gary Andujar, Heat, and Green Holder, so CC, and that's all for the players, and CC, he helped me a lot in the spin training, and I feel comfortable, and so the Yankee, everything, he is good teammate, and everything is family, so, and the little guys, younger guys go to the spin training, so the guys have more experience, so help for talking and everything, so you back to the weekly, so you feel a little more comfortable, so be ready.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Matt and Austin. Be sure to keep your eye on PinstripeProspects.com as we continue to monitor the injury situation surrounding Domingo Acevedo. Let's switch gears now and turn to the single-A short season Staten Island Yankees, where we take a look at the recent New York Yankees draft pick in right-handed pitcher Sean Semple. Semple was drafted by the Yankees in the 11th round of this year's draft out of the University of New Orleans. The 21-year-old stands at 6'1" and weighs in at 195 pounds. Semple attended high school at Paul VI High School in New Jersey, where he made himself a solid prospect in his 4 years. He was a 3-year letterman and was second-team All-Conference in his junior year. In 2017, Semple went 8-3 and got his ERA down to 3.07 before heading into the draft. He had 29 more strikeouts this year than in his previous season. Currently, Semple is assigned to the single-A short season Staten Island Yankees, where our own Ricky Keeler got to catch up with the pitcher to learn about his draft day experience. Ricky, take it away.
Up with everything, so it was a little hectic, but when I got that call from Mike telling him that I was going to be in the 11th round, it was a lot better at that point.
Were Yankees your favorite team growing up? And if not, who was your favorite team?
They weren't actually the Phillies. I grew up about 20 minutes outside of Philadelphia, so I was a big Phillies fan growing up, just Philly sport fan, and wasn't too big of a Yankees fan as they beat them in 2009. Mm-hmm. But as I grew up, I kind of started to respect the whole Yankees organization, all the rings and all that. So it was cool being picked by a historic team.
Who were some of your favorite pitchers to watch?
My favorite pitcher to watch was Roy Halladay when he was with the Phillies. I mean, I didn't know too much about him as a young kid until he got traded to the Phillies, and I started realizing how great he was, and he was just stone faced all the time. He never let anybody ever read him one at all with his emotions and everything. So Roy Halladay was a big one for me, and he was actually one that just really stuck out to me.
If you had to give a scouting report on your pitch arsenal, how would you describe it?
After this year really working on everything, I feel like my pitch arsenal is pretty good with the 3-pitch mix. My changeup's finally coming along, and I'm not throwing such a hoop fat curveball anymore. It's more of a hard down angle curveball. So I think my pitch arsenal is pretty good because I've always had a pretty good location. Like I was always really good with my location with my fastball, so I feel really good about my pitch arsenal this season.
What's been the biggest difference for you from last year to this year?
From last year to this year, it's definitely the working on my off-speed pitches. I mean, like, you just can't throw fastballs all the time, which I did in college. So having that working on that changeup and curveball every day has been, it's really been paying off.
You've gone back and forth this year, relieving some games, starting some games. How tough is that transition to go back and forth?
I mean, I kind of take the role and just run with it. Like every time I pitch, just be ready for any opportunity to be pitching. So I mean, like last summer at the GCL, I went in as a closer, so I kind of had that relief experience. And being from college, I started all the time. So I mean, both I kind of got used to, and I know my body, how I warm up, and know what I need to do to warm up. So I just I'll just take both like I'm starting a game. Even if I'm coming in relief, I'm acting like I'm starting, get warmed up like I do. So it doesn't really matter to me.
You mentioned your GCL experience. You got to get the final out to the championship series last year. What was that moment like for you?
Oh, it was incredible. Just it was a long season, from college to being drafted and playing the GCL. But like throwing that last pitch, it was like now it's time to relax, and you go out with a nice win like that. It was incredible to do with because a lot of the guys on this team I played with during the GCL, and it was fun to have that experience of my first professional team to play with by winning a championship.
When you were at New Orleans, you had a complete game where you struck out 15 in a start. What was working for you that day, and what do you remember about that game?
The fastball was working that day. Just being able to locate it and throw first pitch strikes, and then having good location for my 0-2 pitches, 1-2 pitches, like up and in and stuff like that, and just being able to locate that fastball was huge in college for me. It's I think that's really what led me to be drafted, was being able to hold that consistency of throwing a fastball in the zone and not really walking people. So it was definitely the fastball, and it was definitely one of the best moments of my baseball career.
Can you tell me something unique about playing your home games at New Orleans?
Definitely the just being in New Orleans as a whole is something unique. Just the whole city, it's always different, and just being, because I wasn't going to go there. I was actually picked up by them. I was about to go to JMU, and all that kind of fell away. I was going to JUCO, and then like a week before the season started, they called me up and they're like, "Hey, you want to come play in New Orleans?" So every time I was out there, it was definitely unique, because it was something I just never expected to be in my life, is going to play there. So it was definitely that alone was unique.
What are your goals for this season?
This season, I just want to be able to compete. I want to be able to limit my pitches, like 0-2, 1-2. I want to be able to just get the person out and not have to worry about losing them by a base hit 0-1, 0-2, 1-2. And I also want to just be able to keep my walks down and obviously keep the ERA down.
Do you have any pre-start superstitions?
Not really, because I've been kind of flopping around a lot, so it's kind of hard to keep that superstition. But nothing really unique about it. Just usually, I come to the ballpark, listen to my favorite music, just play cards, here with the buddies, and do a little praying, and just go out there and do what I know how to do.
Now, I noticed it says your birthplace is Voorhees, New Jersey. So my question being today, Friday the 13th, have you seen Friday the 13th?
No, I do not like scary movies. Not a big fan.
All right, thanks, Ricky. All these prospects, all these new young rookies need veteran players to look up to. And for the New York Yankees farm system, look no further than outfielder Shane Robinson. Playing outfield for the New York Yankees is a tough task, what with Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Brett Gardner, and Aaron Hicks on the squad. Robinson now finds himself on the big league team as well, but spent a good part of this year in AAA, despite probably being able to play in the big leagues on a team not so stacked with talent. Robinson understood this role very well. In AAA, Robinson was hitting .261 with 14 RBIs, 25 runs, and 9 stolen bases in 50 games with the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. Robinson made his MLB debut with the St. Louis Cardinals back in 2009, playing in 11 games before being sent down. He'd be called up again in 2011 for the Cardinals, and they went for their historic run, even receiving a World Series ring. Our own Austin Petolillo caught up with the 33-year-old and talked about Robinson's role in AAA. Austin, take it away.
You, in this clubhouse, you're kind of like the older guy. How have you taken on that role?
It's kind of a different role being in AAA and being the older guy, because obviously you don't want to be in AAA, you want to be in the big leagues, and I think that's everyone's goal here. And I think the main thing I try to convey is not being upset in any way, just trying to be professional every day, and just come in here to do my job and have some fun while I'm doing it. And some guys helping out with swing mentality and kind of just little things here and there that I feel like I can help in, but not trying to step on anybody's toes either. Everyone's has the same goal, and if somebody's always in their ear constantly, it gets annoying. So just trying to feel out my spots when I can help somebody, and trying to lead by example and do the right thing when I can. And so I don't know how they feel about it. I think everyone kind of likes me, and might look up to me a little bit, but it's definitely a different aspect of it, kind of being the older guy and trying to do what the guys that I learned from.
Right. Now, you said when you're in AAA, it's kind of you want to be in the bigs. Do you still see yourself? Because I know a lot of people at your age, if they're here, they're going to retire. Like they're done with baseball. Are you kind of just still here for the love of the game, or just longevity, trying to help others? Like, is there like a driving force behind? Why you're still playing?
I think I can still compete in the big leagues. It's just obviously there's a lot of outfielders here, and then with the off season this year with free agents, it was difficult to find a job. For most of the time, there's a few teams that I talked to that kind of pulled stuff off the table with different moves they made, and so this is the Yankees were still interested in me, but obviously there's a huge logjam with outfielders, so I'm not only playing for them but for other teams that could possibly need somebody later on. But if I feel like I couldn't compete at that level, then I'd probably be done. But I still feel good. I still fast. The outfield's pretty much second thought to me now, and so it's going and putting up good at bats, things like that, which I can still do, and so I don't really have an end in sight yet, but obviously you think about it when you get to my age, and how much longer you want to go, and you get those questions from friends and family, and it's like, well, I just tell them when I feel like I'm not competing anymore, or when I feel like, man, I'm kind of getting overmatched, then that's probably my time, but I haven't seen it yet.
All right, thanks, Austin. Great work as always. We'll finish up in Single A short season with the Staten Island Yankees with yet another profile on one of the Yankees' recent draft picks. Let's learn more about right-handed pitcher Harold Cortijo. Cortijo was drafted in the 14th round by the Yankees out of Riverdale Baptist High School. The 19-year-old is 6'2" and 180 pounds, and according to reports, plays well on both sides of the ball. He's an intriguing pick for sure, with offensive and defensive talent. And our very own Ricky Keeler spoke with Cortijo about how he'd evaluate himself so far. Staten Island Yankees manager Lino Diaz translates for us. Ricky, take it away.
So the first question for you is, how would you evaluate your season so far?
¿Cómo tú evaluarías tu temporada hasta ahora, hasta este momento?
Muy bueno, de mucho aprovechamiento, de verdad. Siento que me ha ido mucho mejor de lo que me esperaba. Y gracias a Dios pues estamos haciendo las cosas bien.
I think it's been great. I think it's been really good. To be honest with you, things have come out a lot better than what I thought, and it's good to see it, that they're going that good so far.
You were drafted in the 14th round back in 2017. What was your draft day experience like?
Tú fuiste drafteado en el 2017. ¿Cuál fue tu experiencia, tú sabes, en haber sido drafteado en aquel entonces?
Muy buena, ya que cuando llegué a los Estados Unidos yo no sabía nada sobre eso. Yo me vine a informar sobre eso muy poco antes de que ¿verdad? Pues pasara eso, y pues la verdad fue muy buena y lo he aprovechado al 100%.
You know what, it's been great. I really didn't know much about the draft, you know, and then once I got over here, you know, and then they told me I was drafted and all that, and it was a great thing. And then, you know, I feel like I've been able to take advantage of it for the most part, you know, so it's been a great thing for me.
Was signing an easy decision for you after you got drafted?
¿Fue firmar una decisión fácil para ti después que te draftearon?
Para mí sí, porque de verdad yo tenía esos ánimos de jugar pelota, pero también pensaba en mi estudio, porque nunca, ¿verdad? Mi estudio nunca lo iba a dejar atrás, pero fue fácil porque lo que yo quería hacer era jugar pelota, de verdad.
You know why? It was very easy. It was very easy, but at the same time, it was hard because I didn't want to leave my studies. You know, that was a very important part, and it still is a very important part of me. But in reality, I wanted to play ball too, you know, so I wanted to get the best of both worlds. So,
who were some of your favorite pitchers to watch?
¿Quién era uno de los lanzadores más favoritos para tú ver cuando estabas creciendo y ahora?
De verdad nunca tuve ese favorito, ese pitcher favorito, nunca tuve. Pero sí miraba bastante, de verdad, y me enfoqué en eso, en mirarlo solamente, nunca tuve favorito.
You know what, I really never had somebody like, it was like my favorite pitcher, you know. I just saw a lot of the different guys and how they pitch, and I try to observe that, how they pitch, how they went about their business and all that. But I really didn't have like one that I really looked in on.
How would you describe your pitch arsenal?
¿Cómo tú describirías tu arsenal de lanzamientos?
Pues,
¿qué lanzamientos tú tienes?
Muy buena desarrollación, o sea, en cuestión de práctica. El año pasado no los tenía tan ejecutadores como ahora, ¿sabes? Ahora esa curva está buenísima para mí, el cambio buenísimo, ¿sabes? Que ya tengo más confianza en poder usarlo en el juego.
You know what, I just feel like I can execute them all the time, you know. I feel like I have a good breaking ball, a good curveball, and I feel like I can throw the changeup too, and obviously my fastball is something that I can always go to. But the biggest difference is that I feel like I can execute them in games.
What were some of the things that you worked on in extended spring going into the season?
¿Cuáles fueron algunas de las cosas que tú trabajaste durante el sprint training y durante el programa de Extend, verdad, que te han ayudado durante la temporada?
La curva, trabajé mucho la curva, mi quick step, esas fueron las dos cosas.
¿La curva y qué más?
La curva y el quick step.
Ajá, ok.
Pues fueron las dos cosas que trabajé sumamente más, y le di duro, ¿verdad? Para poder ir al 100 con eso.
You know what, there's two things that I can recall that I really worked hard on. It was my curveball, I worked really hard on it, and then my quick pitch. You know, my quick pitch slide step, you know, that's two things that I really concentrated on, and I feel like I really have gotten better at.
You played some center field before joining the Yankees. How has the time in center field helped you as a pitcher?
Tú jugaste como centrofil antes de ser lanzador para los Yankees. ¿Cómo te ayudó a ti ser centrofil, ahora ser lanzador?
No, yo siempre estuve pichando, ya desde chiquita, de la liguita me mantenían pichando y veían pues la capacidad de mi pichando, y pues de verdad no te puedo negar que me dolió un poquito dejar el centrofil, pero de verdad me puse para esto, de verdad, y me gusta, ahora me encanta más que nunca pichar.
You know what? I did play a little bit too, pitch a little bit when I was growing up and everything, but I felt like, you know, that because of my abilities and everything, you know, they have me also pitch. And I'll be honest with you, when I got drafted and it was to pitch, you know, I kind of felt like, you know, a little, you know, I didn't want to leave the outfield. But now, today, I like it. That's what I like to do the most. You know, I like to pitch.
How have you grown as a pitcher from last year to this year?
¿Cómo has crecido tú como lanzador del año pasado a este año?
Bastante, de verdad. Tengo más seguridad en mí mismo. Puedo hacer he hecho muchas cosas que no podía hacer antes. El año pasado he aprendido sobre el juego bastante y sobre cómo hacer con los bateadores y que nada. He aprendido bastante.
Wow, a lot of difference. I feel like I've learned so much. Confidence, one of them. I've learned how to go about pitching to a guy. To a hitter. How to really go about that. But the confidence, on throwing my pitches, executing my pitches, and how to attack hitters. And I'm continuing to learn, but I feel like there's so much growth from last year to this year in those particular areas.
What are your goals for the rest of the season?
¿Cuáles son tus metas por el resto de la temporada?
Seguir trabajando, ayudar al equipo a ganar y terminar fuerte durante todo lo que me falta de temporada.
My goals are to continue to work on the same things that I've been working and actually perfect them, getting better. Okay, I want to help the team win, and just want to stay healthy through the rest of the season. I want to finish up strong.
You're part of a starting rotation that's excelled this month. Do you guys feel that you're feeding off of each other's strong starts?
Una de las rotaciones más fuertes, ¿verdad?, que hemos tenido nosotros aquí en este equipo, ¿verdad? Y particularmente este mes ha sido algo que, tú sabes, ha sido bien bueno para el equipo. ¿Tú sientes que ustedes mismos se motivan el uno al otro, ¿verdad?, los iniciadores, ¿verdad?, para seguir haciendo el trabajo?
Seguro, y siempre, nunca va en la cabeza, siempre estuvimos apoyándonos uno al otro, seguir trabajando como lo hemos seguido haciendo durante lo que lleva la temporada.
Yes, absolutely. We support each other, and we never get down on ourselves. We just kind of motivate each other with one's outing. Yeah, absolutely. We feed from each other. We actually motivate each other from one to the other. So.
All right, thanks, Ricky. And that'll do it for us here on the Pinstripe Prospects Podcast, episode number 63, of course, presented by our friends at Velocity Wings. For Matt Kardos, Austin Petolillo, and Ricky Keeler, I'm Alex Zeller. However way you've decided to listen to us today, whether on video, whether on audio, thank you so very much for making us a part of your weekly programming. Much love from all of us here at Pinstripe Prospects. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys on Saturday with another edition of the Farm Report. I'll see you guys then.